Alright guys, welcome to part 7. So we got this video left and another video left, okay, of the C33 painting contractors study guide. So I'm pretty sure you guys have noticed that these have a lot more information, and in my opinion they're better than the one I had before. I don't know why the old video got taken down, but I guess every other video that I have has been good now. I do got to do another C10 and another C9, but I don't know when I'll have time for that. So again, like, subscribe, support if this has helped you in any way. So we're going to talk about painting, interior painting with the brush, right? So on the exam, they will ask you where do you start off first, etc. So for windows, use an angled brush. If they ask you about it, use that. If not, it's fine. It's perfect for edges and detail areas. Start with the mullions. This is the dividers. Okay, so this would be this. Okay, move to the frame and trim if they have any. Okay, and pretty much avoid excess paint, prevent drips, and use razor blades for cleanup. Scrape off any dried paint using a glass, and paint needs to overlap 1/16 of an inch onto glass to prevent water intrusion. Okay, now if they're going to ask you how would you paint this window, right? Now this is talking about painting the frame itself. We're talking about how to paint the window. So for this sort of window, you would start off in the centers. Okay, it doesn't matter where you start off, but you would start off in the centers. Then you would start off on the edges. You can also do edge, and tops. Then you could do the frame itself, do the center. You can do the top, then this, or if it's complete, do that and then do the bottom. That's the way it should be done. This is the same thing with this window. Okay, it's the same thing. All right, now for a door. So for doors, for panel doors, follow the sequence for best results. Start with the panels. These would be the panels. Okay, then you would start the mullions, right? What are the mullions? These are these centers. Center. Then you would start the stiles. No, then you would start the mid rails. The rails, sorry about that, I got that mixed up. And then you would start the stiles and finish off with that. So just 3 and 4 are backwards, but it's pretty much, you guys get the hint. They're not really going to go into detail. That you might ask, where do you start first? All right, interior painting and brush roll. How to paint ceilings, right, with the brush and roll. You're going to use a stain blocking primer if there's any stains to it. This will help prevent yellowing or stains from seeping through. You would first start off with cutting along the edges and corners when you're dealing with the ceiling. Then you use a roll and a pole, and you would go in 3 by 4 foot sections using an M or a W pattern to prevent streaks. And you would always overlap roller strokes to ensure the even blending. Avoid excess pressure so as you don't prevent roller marks and you don't destroy the roll. And obviously if you're going to be doing a ceiling, you want to go with a flat or a matte, unless it's like a kitchen or bathroom or something, then that's different. All right, to paint walls, brush and roll. You want to cut in first. Again, paint the corners, the edges around the trim using an angled brush. Use the paint. You roll the paint using an M or W pattern. Spread the paint evenly without visible lines. Work in sections. Cover small areas to maintain a wet edge and prevent lap marks. Apply 2 coats if needed. Wait 2 to 4 hours between coats. And obviously you want to go with like more of a brighter, so an eggshell or satin. It's durable and easy to clean up. Typically, that's what the state's going to ask you too. What type of paint should go on walls? It's always going to be like an eggshell or satin. Typically me or any place that I've worked before, they've always wanted flat and eggshell, but the state will ask you the best paint for that would be an eggshell or satin. How to paint trim and baseboards. So brush only. Again, use an angled brush, provides precision control. Work in long strokes. Apply the paint in smooth and even strokes to avoid visible brush marks. Avoid overloading the brush, so this helps prevent the drips and buildup. And sand between coats. Use fine grit, so 220 or more for smooth finish. And you want to go with a semi-gloss or a gloss finish when dealing with trim and baseboards. For exterior painting, Use a paint sprayer, a roller, or brush depending on the surface. Start at the top and work downward. Woodwork should be done first. This means fascia, eaves, and windows, trims, etc. Then siding, then stucco if present. Make sure all wood has less than 15% moisture level. Common paint issues. So we're going to talk about basic common paint issues that the state might ask you about. So painting problems arise due to poor surface preparation, incorrect application, and environmental conditions. Below are common paint issues, their causes, and solutions to ensure a smooth professional finish. So if your paint is peeling, typically this is caused by painting over dirt, grease, or moisture, using low quality or old paint, skipping primer on bare surfaces, applying oil-based paint over latex without proper preparation. You can fix that by scraping and sanding the area, removing all loose paint. Clean the surface using soap and water or degreaser. Apply a quality primer. Ensure adhesion. And use the right paint. Acrylic latex paint is the best for durability. If your paint is bubbling, also blistering, the cause is typically done from a damp or humid or hot surface. Painting over dirty or oily surface. Applying paint too thickly or in direct sunlight. The fix would come from removing bubbles or scraping and sanding. Ensure surface is dry before painting. Use primer before painting. Avoid painting in heat or in extreme heat or humidity. Brush marks or roller streaks are usually caused by cheap brushes or rollers not maintaining a wet edge when rolling. Overworking the paint, going back over drying areas. The fix for that would be use of high quality brushes and rollers, helps with smooth application. Keep a wet edge, work in sections to blend strokes. Apply thin, even coats to avoid thick layers. If you get paint drips or sags, the cause can be from overloading the brush or roller. Painting is too fast or with too much pressure. Applying too much paint in one coat. The fix will typically be from use less paint on the brush or roller. Remove excess before applying. Paint in thin layers. That'd be 2 thin layers are better than 1 thick layer. Sand in, and pretty much another fix would be sand and repaint sagging areas. Uneven paint coverage or patchy appearance is caused by skipping primer on porous or previously unpainted surfaces. Not mixing paint thoroughly before use. Using too little paint in some areas. The fix can also be you can fix all that by always priming on new surfaces, obviously. Stir the paint thoroughly, especially for deep or custom mortars. Apply a second coat. This will ensure uniform coverage. Paint cracking or creasing, that means hairline cracks, are caused by applying thick coats that dry unevenly, skipping primer on glossy or bare surfaces, using old or low quality paint. You'd fix that by sanding and repainting with thin coats. Use a primer to seal the surface. Avoid painting in cold or dry conditions. If you get chalky paint or it starts getting chalking, this is pretty much a powdery residue on the paint surface that's caused by using low quality or old paint. Sun and weather exposure breaking down the paint. The fix would be to scrub and wash the surface to remove chalky residue. Apply a high quality exterior paint with UV protection. Use a sealing primer to prevent further chalking. If you get stains bleeding through the paint, the causes are typically from water damage, smoke stains, or bleeding through the paint. Skipping primer on stained areas. The fix: use a stain blocking primer, oil based or shellac based. Apply 2 coats for strong stains. Ensure surface is completely dry before painting. Common paint issues or yellowing paint, common in white or light paints. The causes can be caused by oil-based paints turning yellow or over time. Lack of sunlight exposure happens in dark room. You can fix that by using water-based acrylic paint instead of oil-based paint. Expose painted areas to natural light. If you get paint fading or discoloration, that is typically caused by exposure to UV light, harsh weather, using interior paint on exterior surfaces. You can fix all that by using UV resistant exterior paint. Choose high quality paint for longer lasting color, and repainting with light reflecting primer. If you have alligatoring or cracked paint like alligator skin, the causes can be from applying a hard or oil-based paint over a softer layer. The top layer cannot flex properly. Painting over a glossy surface without sanding or priming, the new paint does not bond well. Applying paint too thickly or too quickly causes uneven drying and cracking. Extreme temperature changes, expanding and contracting, weakens the paint. How to fix this? You'd scrape and sand the affected area, remove cracked paint completely, clean the surface, remove the dust and debris, apply a primer, use a bonding primer to help the new paint adhere. Repaint with a high quality flexible paint. Acrylic latex paint is ideal. Apply thin, even coats. Allow proper drying times between coats as well. If you get fisheye, the cause of that is typically from surface contamination, so oil, grease, silicone, wax, moisture. This will prevent paint from adhering. If you're using dirty tools or compressed air with pretty much with oil residue, sprayers or brushes must be clean. Incorrect paint mixing or thinning, incompatible paint formulas can react badly. How to fix it? You pretty much sand down the area, clean thoroughly, remove all grease, oil residue using a degreaser or wax remover. Use a degreasing agent before painting. Prevent contamination. Apply a high quality primer, helps seal the surface, and repaint with clean equipment. Use oil-free compressed air if spraying with the compressor, or an airless. If you get orange peel, this is much textured or bumpy paint surface. The causes are incorrect spray gun settings. Too much or too little pressure can cause textures. Applying paint too thickly. Heavy coats do not level properly. Holding the paint gun too far or too close. It creates uneven application. Low quality paint or improper thinning affects smoothness. How do you fix this? Well, you wet sand the surface using a fine grit sandpaper and buff to the smooth texture. You can also adjust the spray setting, increasing the pressure, or correct the nozzle. You can also apply thin or even coats. Avoid overloading paint, and use a paint leveling additives helps the paint settle smoothly. That's pretty much it, guys. On the common paint issues. I know some of you guys probably all know this, but that's fine. It's just a quick refresher, just in case they ask you what are some fixes for this, which they will ask you at least one question on how to correct a common paint issue. So that's pretty much it, guys. I'll catch you guys later.